Hello everyone. This video will be regarding The Last of Us ending, so if you haven't finished the game or if you haven't even got the game yet, then I do suggest that you go out and buy it, as it is very, very good, especially the ending for at least the way I perceive it. Now, a lot of clarification has to be put into this video, as this is very spoilery, if that's even a word, but if you do not want the ending to be spoiled, then I suggest you do not watch this and go and finish the game, like I said, before you watch this. But if you don't care, then carry on. Now remember, this is just the way I view it, my own interpretation or analysis, if you will. And if any of the information is wrong or if you disagree for a certain reason, then do comment just so I can get a better understanding of maybe where I'm just, well, at least where I get my opinion from for how I perceive this. Now, this video may be quite long, I'm not entirely sure, but I'll try and make it as quick and as short as possible. How I think like a lot of people have sort of said that they don't like this ending, which is sort of understandable if they don't see it for maybe the reasons that I see it for being a very, very good ending. So I will try and basically give my reasons for this as follows. I will not be going into too much detail about the whole story, more so just the ending, or what's the most important part. So, and as of course, if you've already finished the game, you already know. A lot of people, it's very up for debate whether or not how this ending actually went about. And one of the questions that I noticed a lot of people asking was, why was there no multiple choice ending? And I was thinking this because when I played the portion of the game where it comes to saving Ellie, I had decided to save her, only to find out that it wasn't actually a choice. There was nothing you could do different, which I was a bit annoyed about because I thought it just seemed like one of those perfect moments until I really thought about the implications of why perhaps there wasn't that choice. And maybe I'm just being very anal about the whole thing or looking a bit too much into it, but here's why I think this was. At the very end, you realise that you are not Joel. That from this whole perspective, this whole journey, you as a player have been Ellie throughout. You may have played as Joel, but it was more so that you weren't actually Joel, but Joel was more so carrying you. That you as a whole, from your perspective and your abilities, you identified with Ellie more so. You were never Joel in the first place, regardless of the sort of the mechanical side. And so to take away the control off of you or making a decision, you in turn have to actually look at Joel's actions as a character. And then you realise that we don't, just as Ellie, don't really know much about Joel. As much as we see basically Joel from the perspective of how Ellie sees him. We sort of admire the guy. We admire him very much throughout this whole game until this very hazy point at the end comes up where he's lying and everything is sort of still friendly but a bit sinister. But we don't know how to think. We're a bit confused about our opinion of Joel now, just as Ellie is. And that's the point, that it became clear that throughout this whole story we were never Joel. That we are Ellie in this sort of tale across America. And that's basically the reason why I think that it went about is that in such a way, because I know I keep repeating myself, but it's basically what I think happened. Is that we hear about all these things in Joel's past about doing horrible things, but it's never really clarified, and we begin to feel like, at least in my own opinion, that you end up growing to like Joel, but you still don't really know much about the guy, especially at the end where it becomes even more clear that you still don't really know what Joel is about, which you think you would because you're playing Joel. You think I am Joel, but you're not Joel. From the perspective, you are Ellie, in which in turn I think is why the game chooses to make you play as Ellie at the very end, which if you think about it, it's a bit strange because that bit could have easily been played out differently with Joel being the centre character, but it doesn't. They make you play as Ellie, which I was thinking, why would they make you play as that for absolutely no reason when, and mechanically, you could have been Joel in that section, but they didn't. And I was thinking, because it makes perfect sense why there wasn't an added choice for Joel, because you were never Joel. We don't know Joel. We are Ellie in this story as we follow him across America as we try and find out about him, and it's only at the very end that we realise that we don't really know much about the guy, about whether much we can trust him, about whether or not he's a hero, whether his action was very sinister, because basically he puts, for all intents and purposes, humanity at complete risk, or because when they take Ellie, there's no chance of even obtaining a cure. Now, whether or not you believe that it would be beneficial if they had a cure or not is a completely different matter. But as for the whole gameplay perspective, why a lot of people might not like this ending and see it's not very glorifying or very overly dramatic, is because the game as a whole isn't. But this wraps up a very serious point, is that you, and I do stress and repeat this a lot, is that you are not Joel. Throughout this whole tale, you find out very little about Joel as a character, even though you play him. But you find out a lot in terms of Ellie. Well, at least more so. And our opinion of Joel, even though we seem to play him, is entirely almost based on the way Ellie is, or the way at least Ellie might perceive him. Is the same as the way we perceive him. As Ellie, in a sense, is the way even the real players in the real world are. We could never imagine being Joel in real life, even though in real life we are probably more like Ellie than Joel in any way. And so that's why I think it sort of goes to say is why I think it ended that way. But I could be wrong. But if anybody would like to clarify, then I hope you enjoyed the video. And I do believe I just rambled on for quite a long time and didn't really explain myself well, but well, it could be worse. Thank you for watching the video, and take care.